Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to do a pretty simple project on my IS250. After about 13 years, these rain gutters now, they're starting to bubble up and the paint's starting to oxidize on them. So I'm going to pop these rain gutters off. I'm going to sand them down, I'm going to paint them and then clear coat them and get them back to factory looking. Some of y'all's, you probably don't even notice them on top of your car. If you have noticed them, they're probably worse than mine. My car has been garage kept for 13 years, so it's held up a little bit better. But if you don't garage keep them, those things get pretty bad after a while. If you like this type of content, if you do, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. So today, that clear coat that I'm going to be spraying is this Spray Max 2K Clear Glamour. You can pick this up on Amazon. It's about 20 bucks a can or 30 something dollars for 2 cans. I picked up the 2-can version since I had some other projects that I'm doing with this. So this is a huge upgrade, especially for the DIYers like us that do this stuff at home. I'm in the past have used the professional stuff where I mix it, I put it in a spray gun, use an air compressor, and that stuff's really hard to get right, especially getting the temperatures right and getting the hardener right, and then even just spraying it with the right gun and the right pressures. So this stuff makes it so much easier because it's basically a spray paint. It's a 2-part where you have the hardener at the bottom here and then you have this cap on top that you activate the hardener with. So the can says you have about 48 hours of pot time once you activate it to use it before it becomes no good and it dries up. I've heard about people that have used this up to a week by keeping it in the fridge. So they've got the instructions on the back on how to activate it. One of the things about using this, it is a neurotoxin, so you have to have a respirator. Do not use it without a real professional respirator with the cartridges on it. Don't use like regular just paper mask and all that to spray this stuff. You got to spray it, and you got to spray it outside away from your vehicle so you don't have any overspray. So that's very important. This stuff, once you get overspray in your car, it's a pain to get out and buff. But anyway, so we'll give it a shot today on that window molding. I've used this in the past if you saw my other videos on the calipers, and they turned out really good on those. So they should turn out just as good on the plastic on top. So the rain gutters on my car, I just noticed them last couple car washes that I've been doing that they're starting to crack right there. You see the paint is starting to crack and they're starting to oxidize, especially this one on the passenger side. The driver's side one is still pretty clean. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to take these things off. I'm going to hit them with a Scotch-Brite 3M Scotch-Brite pad, an ultra-fine pad, just to scuff it up. I'm going to spray it with some base coat and do that clear coat I talked about. You see on the driver's side, it's a little bit, car is a little bit dirty right now, but you can see it's not as bad, or it hasn't really started oxidizing or anything yet. Back here is a little bit you can see it is starting to crack the rubber underneath. So they come off pretty easily. There's 2 clips. There's one up here, and then there's one back here. There's only those are the only 2 clips that keep it in, and it's a compression clip on the actual molding itself, and then there's another side to it that's on the car. The side on the car is actually in there with an epoxy, so it's actually epoxy to the car. There's no screws or anything that keep it to the car. This epoxy, so you just gotta be careful when you pop it off that you don't break the clips, because if you break it, then you're gonna have to order some new clips and then epoxy that onto the car. You can see that was pretty easy to pop off. Like I was explaining earlier, the metal side right here is the side that epoxies to the car. So mine is pretty solid on there and it's not going anywhere. And then the side on the actual molding is just a formed plastic, as you can tell from right there. You just gotta be careful not to force it off too much. I use that little wedge molding tool that helped me pop it off a little bit, because you could break that, and that's what you would worry about, breaking these clips right here. On this rear part, it doesn't have any grooves, it just kind of snaps in like that. If you look at the front side is a little different. See that plastic part on the molding, it's got a groove in it where it clips into this part right here on the the 2 little hook clips on there. So you could tell you know, if I did deform mine a little bit, but I'll just heat that back up and kind of shape it back. But I don't think that affects how it stays in on the compression fit anyways. The funny thing is, for how long I've had this car, which is 13 years now, this is the first time I've ever taken this molding off for any reason. So, you know, it's first time or everything, and the only reason why I had to take it apart was just to paint this. If you don't, you know, if you don't feel like spending the money to paint it, I think you could buy these things. They come color matched to the car. At least they did when the car was new. I don't know if they do anymore since the car is so old. They might just sell it as a, you know, unpainted and have body shops paint it, but I don't know. So if they do, I'll post you know, some links to the part numbers for them if you need to for your car. Otherwise, I'm just gonna do my method of just clearing and painting them. You could also just vinyl wrap them. Some people have done that, especially if the guys that have non-black cars that want black moldings, they've done that as in the past. So to scuff it, I'm gonna use this ultra fine 3M Scotch-Brite pad that's designed for body work. So I scuffed it up a little bit, and then those little cracks in the paint on here were a little bit deeper than I thought, so I ended up hitting it with a 400 wet sand just to make sure it was completely smooth before I move ahead. So now I'm just gonna have to lacquer thin this, wipe it down, lacquer thin it, and probably wipe it with a little bit of acetone before I spray the base coat on there. One of the things to keep it from moving from the air pressure is just taping the edges right here to the table, so when I'm spraying it, it doesn't slide everywhere. Before I lay the clear on this rain gutters, I want to wipe it down with this 3M Bondo tack rag, just to get all the crap that might have fell on it while I was sitting here drying. So what you got to do to activate is you shake it for 2 minutes before, take this cover off, put it at the bottom here, make sure it's set on the table, put it in there and press it down. So these rain gutters turned out really good too. Look at that. The gloss on them is great. I tried to lay it down as wet as I could just to get that gloss in there, but it turned out great. But overall, I love it. So I've let these babies dry for about a week since I've been busy doing other stuff, and they came out really nice, still glossy, very minimal dust or anything in them. They, no orange peel or anything, so looks really good. It's ready to go back on the car. So these go back in pretty easily. I think they're marked left and right. So this one's left up here on the front, this little clip. So you just line it up with under your rubber up here. Kind of get it in there, and just press it down before you put in the clips on the either end, and just snap it in on either side where the clip was. Make sure the rubber and everything is in place, and it's pretty easy, simple install. Make sure that rubber's right there's covered, and then the back side just snaps in front of that rubber there. Do the same thing on this side. There you have it, nice and clean. Thanks for tuning in to this quick episode on this rain gutter DIY that I'm doing for this car. Don't forget, if you like this type of content and you find this stuff useful, don't forget to subscribe to your channel, like the video, and I'll continue posting all the small projects and little projects I do for my IS here. So until next time, see you guys.